Welcome back to Global Business Europe. More now on our special series, Redesigning the Future, with today's focus on the future of shopping. Lots of big retailers are struggling to survive the pandemic, including the US department store JCPenney. The company is seeking strategic advice from the consultancy firm AlixPartners, and its CEO Simon Freakley told me what companies can do to turn around their fortunes.
The retail industry globally was being profoundly disrupted, Jamie, even before the pandemic came along. The availability of data on customers, the ability to understand their buying patterns was really disrupting the retail industry. The pandemic that came along, of course, was the mother of all disruptions, but it was only the latest disruption for the retail industry.
AlixPartners is known for restructuring companies, but also advising clients on new strategies. What's the general trajectory that you see for retail going forward?
Well, retail, of course, Jamie, is enormously important for every economy. Take the US, for instance, 70% of GDP is consumer spending. So that gives us a feel for the importance of retail sales to an economy. What we're finding in working with retailers all over the world, not just in America, is that people's ability to not just aggregate data on customers' behavior, but to use it to make sure they understand the customer's preferences is critical. So in developed economies, retailers are data rich, but insight poor. And so what we're working a lot on with our customers is understanding the data they've got, so that from the way in which they go to market, but also the way in which they set up their supply chain, the way they keep their order volumes agile, they are going to be winners coming out of a profound disruption like the pandemic, on top of the many other disruptions that are happening in the retail sector.
Tell us about the success of online sales compared to in-store sales, and what costs and challenges are associated with running both in the COVID-19 environment.
Well, of course, one generally thinks that people with an online strategy have thrived during the pandemic, and to some extent that is true. There's been a violent swing to buying online, and not just in the things that people were buying before, but in those commodities that were less a feature of online sales before. So groceries, for instance, people typically bought their groceries in store rather than online. Certainly in developed Western economies that has changed. There's been a violent swing to online. But the critical issue for people to focus on is that just because sales are being made online doesn't mean that that company is going to be successful, because the cost of fulfilling an order online is more expensive than the cost of fulfilling a sale in a store. And so there have been some celebrated examples of sales having gone up because online sales have become more significant, but profitability for companies have gone down because it's costing them more to fulfill those orders. So the real winners coming out of this, Jamie, will be those companies who manage to set up their business models such that they retain profitability with the swing to online sales out of store sales.